broken. Just this morning, a side of me open that I never noticed. We are the future, ride for the culture. Put my dirty clothes on the lines of a notebook. Never hide from exposure, show you nobody is unbroken.
Remember my name. You see my face every breath that you take. Just when you think I was torn down in flames, I'm born again. All of my dark days are gone. You will remember. Yeah, you will remember. Yeah, you will remember. You will remember. Yeah.
I'm unstoppable. Came too far to be barred by an obstacle. That's not an optional. What they call hard is like riding a bicycle. I'm phenomenal. Feeling like I could do what a mythological guy could do. Power is optimal. It's my time to make impossible and impossible.
Remember my name. You see my face every breath that you take. Just when you think I was torn down in flames, I'm born again. All of my dark days are gone. You will remember. You will remember. Yeah, you will remember. You will remember. Yeah. I'm born again. I'm born again. All of my dark days are gone. Remember my name. You see my face every breath that you take. Just when you think I was torn down in flames, I'm born again. All of my dark days are gone. You will remember. You will remember. Yeah, you will remember.
I just wanna lay here. Don't know what I'm waiting for. Don't know what I'm aiming for. I've just gotta feel it. Late night, yeah, my head be spinning around. Yeah, I was once lost, but baby, you got me feeling found. It's time to show me how it's done. This is the glow up. Come on, it's time to have some fun. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna break it down. We give it big love. We're gonna show them how it's done. That's right. We're gonna show them. I've got to keep fighting. Strike hard, I'm like lightning. It's my life, I rewrite it. Yeah, I'm gonna show ya. Late night, yeah, my head be spinning around. Yeah, I was once lost, but baby, you got me feeling found. It's time to show them how it's done. This is the glow up. Come on, it's time to have some fun. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna break it down. We give it big love. We're gonna show them how it's done. That's right. We're gonna show them. I know we're gonna make it. We just played a waiting game. I know that we were born for this. I know that we are stronger. We just gotta believe in something. You just gotta believe in us. I know that we were born for this. I've got to keep fighting. It's time to show them how it's done. Yeah, this is the glow up. Strike hard, I'm like lightning. It's time to have some fun. Yeah, it's my life. That's right. And I've got to keep fighting. We're giving big love. We're gonna show them how it's done. That's right. Come on, this is our time, and we're gonna show them.
So we've been in Charlotte all week long. It's incredible. The whole industry has really been super supportive for NASCAR 25, and we've had 8 or 9 drivers trying the game, and you know, to us, it's just another step in the process of making a great game, right? You want to get their feedback, you want to implement some of the things that they give you pointers on. So enjoy some of the clips of these guys playing the game and just kind of what we went through this week. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We just got done playing NASCAR 25. I would say it's probably the most realistic Xbox PS5 game that I've played. I grew up playing all the old games through my childhood, and it was pretty awesome to be able to kind of get on again, and looking forward to when it comes out.
I mean, the physics, I used to play a lot of games, and NASCAR games, and the physics on this game is above and beyond all of them. So initial thoughts are really good.
I was blown away by how realistic the game was, and just going through the couple tracks that I ran, like seeing how true the repave was at Iowa, and the new asphalt lines up with what we have in real life. The grip levels were accurate, impressive.
It's really cool, like seeing myself in a video game. That means a lot for me, because like I never imagined like saw me in a video game, and make me feel like the first time when I jump in a car, it was the same feeling.
Well, the first time seeing myself was, I mean, you dream about those moments, right? I mean, growing up and playing video games, like I said, 2K or anybody, and playing as LeBron James or doing something, right? You want to take your my player to the top of the, and have the overall, the 99 overall, you know? So now I get to do that for myself. I'm gonna be on that game 24/7.
For the first time ever, there's a whole new level of authenticity to the NASCAR game with the actual track scans and the car physics, which is going to bring fans closer to the sport.
You can definitely tell that iRacing had a significant impact on this game, from the driving characteristics to the audio, the visuals. You can tell the footprint that iRacing had on this platform, and it's a great thing because it just shows how next level video games can be.
iRacing is huge, so just the opportunity for it to go to a game console is also just a great opportunity for people that love racing or just trying to do it for fun and maybe trying to get into it.
I think the first game that I probably played was NASCAR 05. Got that game, actually had it on PSP at the time, and then played it on console as well, so that's really how I got started, and my friends said that I took the game way too seriously.
As a kid growing up, I was a big time NASCAR video gamer and would love getting to explore all the different tracks and see what they're about, and going to Pocono and realizing it's a triangle, and how Loudon, New Hampshire is really flat, and just seeing all the variety of different racetracks.
This game from the driver's perspective is what it needs to be. I mean, myself in my own career, there's just that energy level when you walk into the racetrack and you hear the engines and practice starts. There's just that feel that you get when you get in your race suit, you hop in the truck.
I mean, I'll never forget it. My first ever time at Daytona, when I rolled into the garage and they put my car on 4 jack stands and they raise up the hood, and all you hear is the guns going on the tires, the guys working on the car, the spotter crew chief talking. Like, it took me away because it felt like I've been in that situation before, and it actually was like I'm actually living this moment that I played in the game a million of times. So now to be in this game even more elevated, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's definitely huge.
I can't thank these drivers enough. This week has been super special for all of us to come down here and shoot this content and get their feedback. We've had a long relationship with a lot of these guys, and I'm so excited. Even ones we've just met this trip. The passion that they have and the excitement that they have to get this game out and in the market is super exciting. In case you haven't heard, October 14th, that's our launch date. So we're going to open pre-orders and we're going to get you that gameplay trailer that you guys are all begging for about a month before. So stay tuned. We got a lot more information coming on the game for NASCAR 25.
Visit NASCAR25.com for more information on the game, and make sure you follow us on social media at NASCAR25 Game.
This is iRacing.
Now the best is coming.
3 days, 6 races, over 250 entries, and it's all come down to this. The narrative has shifted. No more points, no more patience. It's time to settle the score at the big house. Will we crown a new champion, or will Dane Culver and Nicholas Stachelet be able to go back-to-back? Who will stand tall out of our 10-lap feature? Welcome everybody to the Super Sessions here at the Crandon Championship, the pinnacle of short course racing on iRacing. My name is Keenan Kuzin, and we've been broadcasting the action all week here from iRacing Studio, and we are down into the last 2 races. These are the ones that matter. You see this point sheet? That doesn't mean a damn thing anymore. We're down into just these top 20, and we're going to be able to see who will be the first of your 2 champions here from the Crandon Championship. It's been a long way to get here, part of one of our wonderful special events here as we get to the end of our summer season. We're getting into our fall swing now with the Indy 6 Hour next weekend. I believe September 5th and 6th. The Bristol 500 coming up after that. For all you oval fans, that should be a treat and to have. Suzuka 1,000 kilometer as well. It's nice to see that on the schedule. And of course, one of the final events of the year and one of the wackiest, the Production Car Challenge. If anyone's raced PCC, you'll know how dicey those races can get. Imagine putting it on one of the biggest tracks on the schedule. Joined as well, of course, by the great Joshua Lee here in the broadcast booth. Joshua, it's been a heck of a week, and we've seen some really aggressive racing, some big passes, some big moves, and some renewed rivalries, and now is the day that it matters.
It's a big day for iRacing Off-Road as we have two amazing super sessions coming up here today. All week long, we've seen the aggression. It has just got ramped up and up and up and up. And I think today is going to reach that crescendo with one of the best fields outside of the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series that you're going to find in iRacing Off-Road all year long.
It's hard to say outside of the Off-Road Championship Series because half the field is from the Off-Road Championship Series. And then you have some wild cards like Aaron Vasquez, who showed up, did one race, and qualified his way in. He'll be 11th overall in the standings. It will be interesting to see who showed up for the 11 a.m. race as well. We talked about it a bit during the week, but it's not just the top 20. Everybody who participated, heck, people who showed up today, Josh, are still able to race in this first of your two super sessions.
The 17 drivers that we're going to see take the green flag here in the morning super session today are all drivers that qualified their way into this top split based on points. But after the points, drivers are split on down. In the lower splits, they are started to split by iRating. So if you have not run yet this week and you're looking to run either whether you're running this morning session or you're looking to run the session later today, even if you have not competed with us in any preliminary sessions, you can still race in the super sessions. And Keenan, those preliminary races have gone on all week long to get to this point.
Yeah, of course. So, like a traditional point system, basically how it worked is all you needed was a D 4.0 or above. We had 2 time slots today, the same time slots that we're going to have today, so 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern time. Drivers competed to earn points during the week and depended on the strength of field. So the higher the strength of field in your split, the more points on for offer, the more points on for offer, the more points you'll have going into today. And now we're into the super session. So any 2 time slots are available. It's the same session format as before. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And splits are determined by those points. And then for those who have not participated, it'll be based on their dirt road rating. And Josh, we had a heck of a week. It's actually hard to see how those at the iRacing team, the broadcast team, were able to condense all these highlights into just a couple of seconds. But what a week of racing.
There were so many amazing moments that all got started Wednesday morning when we begun the journey of the Crandon Championship throughout this week, and just going through all of the races, whether it was a sprint, whether it was a feature, these drivers were showing out, and they were showing that they want to make iRacing Off-Road look as entertaining and as exciting as possible to everybody on the iRacing Esports Network, and that's exactly what we saw all week long.
Yeah, again, you underestimate the amount of pressure that these drivers put on themselves to put on a show for those watching at home. They want to prove that short course racing and off-road racing and iRacing is the place to be, and they were doing that in spades this week. Multiple different winners. The only repeat winner we had was Dane Culver, who, take a guess, is one of your 2024 champions, the 9 p.m. split. He's here this morning trying to go back-to-back, but he's going to have a field of angry drivers behind him, 17 making this top split. And we saw some thrills and spills with way less and way more than that, and a lot of stars have come out to play here this morning.
And taking a look at these highlights throughout the week, it has all culminated into today's super sessions today. And it's a special day for iRacing Off-Road. Keenan, I also want to extend to you a special day for you as well. 15 years of Mr. Aero HD. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you on this journey for 15 years.
All it took was a lot of back pain, and here we are. But culminating here on one of the most exciting off-road races on the special event calendar, on one of the most exciting off-road races on iRacing for the year, and be able to be the best of the best battled out. Some faces that we remember from last year, some names that are brand new this year, and here is the battleground, the Coliseum, the big house. Crandon International Raceway, Crandon, Wisconsin. If you are unfamiliar, this is the mecca of short course racing. This is the place to be. This is the place to win, and it is the place to start. Well, they'll go 10 wide into Potawatomi Turn 1.
Passing zones on some Formula One tracks. There might be one, there might be two. Anywhere is a passing zone at Crandon. If you're willing to be aggressive enough, you can make contact in these corners. You can move people out of the way. It is all mutually assured that they are going to race aggressive down into Cowboy Corner after the two long straightaways through the arena section that's normally a part of the Crandon Raceway short configuration, and that land rush start 10 wide on the first row. We'll have 7 trucks on the second row, all trying to fight for a whole shot going into Potawatomi Turn 1.
And here is the weapons they'll be taking into battle. Welcome to the Pro 4 truck. 4-wheel drive, up to 900 horsepower from this 410 cubic inch V8, 6-speed sequential transmission, and no electronic aids to help you out of your predicaments. It is about 1,400 or 4,100 pounds, so not the lightest vehicle you've ever driven, but these machines were built for war, not just to handle the bumps and jumps and bumps and bangs of Crandon International Raceway, but how physical and how rough and tumble this style of racing is, Josh.
And that is what we're going to see all day long with these Pro 4 trucks. Those coilover shocks are going to be absorbing all of the jumps around the Crandon International Raceway. And these drivers are going to have to pitch their trucks well. These things act like rallycross cars. If you've ever seen rallycross, when they pitch over the jump using the throttle and the brake to get that car pitched as possible, to get it landing straight, is exactly what these drivers are going to be doing over the handful of jumps here at Crandon.
Really excited to talk to you for those who have not been able to join us this week through a couple of laps. But it wasn't the only news that we had over here at iRacing this week, as the dev blog finally released some interesting tidbits there. And the big releases are all the new cars and tracks. Obviously, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, Mexico City, the last part of the iRacing NASCAR refresh, Sonoma, being able to get a new coat of paint, North Wilkesboro as well, and some new content drops. Personally, Josh, super excited, not just for this new UI as well, looking so clean, but being able to get our hands on the Mustang GT4.
How about that Indy Next car far left of that image as well? I'm excited to take that thing around, potentially around Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, which is also going to be added in the upcoming build, the final phase of the NASCAR refresh as well. That's a preview of Sonoma, and then the all-new modern rescan of North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yep, and then I think our producer, one of our producers, Drew Adamson, would not be thrilled if I did not mention the Aston Martin Vantage Evo GT3 there in the middle of your screen, adding to the wonderful lineup of GT3 vehicles that we do have on the iRacing service that also just got a fresh coat of paint. Speaking of another fresh coat of paint, iRacing Studios is pleased to unveil iRacing Arcade, a new spin on arcade racing featuring some cars and tracks that you'd be familiar with in the iRacing service. It's going to be coming to Steam this fall and consoles in early 2026.
I'm excited to take this thing around and really give it a good test. I'm hoping we get some handheld consoles for iRacing Arcade so I can take this thing on some long plane trips, because I just know this is going to be very, very fun on a 5-hour cross-country trip to Los Angeles that I seem to make every year.
Yeah, talk about frequent flyer miles, but really excited to get a hand of this. Was a big fan of Original Fire Games' other offerings with Circuit and Karting Superstars. Speaking of superstars, we get to talk to one of the most famous names in off-road racing. I'm sure he's going to disagree with me with that when we throw it to him. Chris Leone is here once again in the studio with us this morning. Chris, we didn't get a chance to all week. First of all, shocker, not in top split today. I know that's kind of a disappointment.
Oh, but, surprising.
Yeah, personally, I'm shocked. But this special event coincides with the same sort of thing as a lot of our special events on iRacing, where Crandon Championship will be in Wisconsin next week in the real world.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is something that I pushed for on the schedule a couple of years ago, and shout out to Greg West for accommodating that. The real event, Labor Day weekend every year, 56th anniversary of this event, so they've been doing it for more than half a century. There's going to be some cool stuff going on. I will be there, so if you're watching and you're going to go, or even if you're driving and you're going to go, make sure you say hi. I will be around. I will be bringing a new form of racing in the real world to Crandon that has never been there before, and if you go poking around the schedule, I'm sure you can figure out what that is.
Yeah, go try to find the short Italian guy. Chris, it's been a long week, really kind of a unique thing to these super sessions. As a driver who's participated every morning, what's the journey been like to get here?
A lot of safety rating management. If you've been tuning into these morning streams, you have heard me say that. And I've taken your advice, and I've been starting to do some time trials at night just to try to not fall below an A1.0 so I can keep that blue band on my license. I was proud of that. I race people clean, dang it. So it's really been a lot of that. We may still be saying farewell to the A license after this race because this is the big one. This is the money race. This is what we're all going for. And even though I'm not in top split, this is where bragging rights are handed out. So it's really going to be about getting to the finish line. But if you're going to make moves, now is the time to do it. And if people have been riding on you, this is probably the time that payback might happen. Not advocating for it, not saying I'm going to do it. I just know how people work.
Direct all your complaints on racecraft to Chris Leone at iRacing.com. Thank you, Chris. And we'll see you, check in with you a little bit after your heat race. As we jump on board to top split qualifying, and there is your winner, Josh, from 2024 in the 11 a.m. split, Nicholas Dashley. We saw him last night, walked away with the podium. He's got a little bit of renewed confidence, a little bit of renewed calmness. Seems like he was really focused on today.
And let's see how that focus is going to translate into qualifying here as he gets his first flying lap underway. There's a lot of pressure, right, to try and get another Super Session win. And it is not easy, especially when the special events calendar throughout the year. Of course, these are all public races. You're going to be racing with different people year after year after year. The Dashley trying to join an eclectic group of iRacers to win multiple special events, multiple Super Sessions over the course of multiple years.
We have two drivers in this split trying to go back-to-back, and that is Dashley and Culver. And again, if you were watching in 2024, these two drivers not too big fans of each other. Whether that's a healthy rivalry or a little bit of beef, we will have to find out here this morning. But throwing big blows, and it's almost poetic that the first time we saw them race together was last night. First, we see some new faces here as well, as of course, if we do not have our top 20, we start pulling from anybody who showed up after that. So Cody Winecki, nice to see him here. Scott Mayer seems to have dressed up for the occasion.
Loving the bear suit we got going here on the number 12 truck as he looks to finish his first lap in qualifying. We'll see if the extra heat generated by that suit is going to generate some extra points in the stopwatch here as he goes a little bit wide, exit a Calamity corner. Let's see where that puts him as Dashley early lap gets up to the top of the board. Never mind, that Countryman up to the top of the board now as Merrick goes P3.
It's going to be really interesting to see how the race pace changes, not necessarily in terms of speed, as we jump on with Sean Winkler with the biggest smile in short course racing. And Dane Culver, here is your winner, the only driver who's won multiple races this week. He won our first race Tuesday night and our last race, the bookend, on Friday night as well. Has not been able to score he's only been able to score one pole race, which is he got with a 15.1, but Dane really trying to get to the front of this field, especially since he's been kind of taking some steps away from short course racing, and I think he's back in a big way.
And there's your onboard with Dane Culver as he pitches that truck towards the inside through the left-hander. It's Countryman right now, top of the leaderboard. We'll see if Culver's able to help that lap time a little bit. A 1:19.1 to begin qualifying for Dane Culver. Not exactly where I think he wants to be, especially being row 2 on the land rush start. Keenan, we've talked all week long about how difficult that land rush start is, but how deep in the mid-pack you can get. You just get stuck with nowhere to go in the opening corners.
Takes that big wide swing, and this will be the lap that counts. He's going to break the beams and start the clock for what he's going to attempt to get off the bottom of that leaderboard. Nice and particular line through here. Want to get as close to that berm on the inside. You'll go wide and then use the banking for Argonne corner. Head down into Cowboy corner. Again, back on board with a 720. Your number 1 seed going into this race, Sean Winkler. This is no disrespect to Sean, but if you go back to a lot of his previous races, Josh, he's usually somewhere between the upper midfield. So it's really cool to see the real Racecraft Academy machine of Sean Winkler be able to find a little extra something in box with these top drivers.
It looks like he's going to get another flyer set up as well as the clock it goes south of 2 minutes remaining in qualifying. No movement from Thad Countryman yet. I believe he just started his final lap. Same with Nicholas Dachalet, same with Drake Matag, Cody Wienecki, all those drivers up at the top of the leaderboard. But here's that wide entry into Calamity Corner and that wide exit, full throttle to get all 4 tires spinning as you go over those first 2 jumps. And let's follow along. Let's see exactly where he's going on the stopwatch as he enters his way into Argonne to pitch that truck down the straightaway going down towards Cowboy Corner.
Such a foreign racing line if all you've watched is asphalt racing, but the verticality of these corners is so important. Think Zandvoort in the Netherlands, where all that banked corners changes the lineup really deep into Cowboy Corner, using a straight line exit to be able to get those wheels pointed straight. The faster you can accelerate, the faster you can minimize that wheel speed, Josh, the more speed you can carry into this flat out downhill right of Potawatomi Turn 1.
I know it seems like to everybody that's not familiar with iRacing off-road, that 4-wheel drive on dirt having wheel spin doesn't seem right. Well, it is. These trucks have 900 horsepower, trying to put all of that power down towards the wheels at the same time. It is very easy to get these tires spinning and to get a ton of wheel spin out of these corners and just scrub off speed. Nicholas Dachalet goes to the top of the board. Can Sean Winkler do anything about it as he enters Calamity Corner? He has 5 seconds to get to the line.
We're going to have to see what he could do. Keep an eye on the timing board. We're going to start seeing some times come in now. Sean Winkler across the line. That's going to be good enough to move up the board. 15-7, very close towards the top of the board now, as let's take you through what you can expect to see here this morning. We'll have a 6-lap heat race. That heat race will decide the order for the feature. And then the feature race is where we will crown a champion. 10 laps. Land rush start, no holds barred, no cautions. First truck to the end will be your winner.
And if that race analysis looks very familiar to the rest of the week, that is because it is the exact same as the rest of the week. Nothing changes on our race format today, Keenan. It is the exact same as we've done through the preliminary races, as there is your top 10 in the first row of the Land Rush.
Dachalet will be your pole sitter, just like last night with a 15.481. But look at how close the field is. Within 0.5 of a second between Dachalet and Matthew Linda. Nice to see him and Scott Merrick be able to make the field as Evan McFarland has his teammate finally with him for the first time. Drake Matag also in there, 6th place. Crystal King, the queen of the races. She's raced every session this week and has paid the price with her safety rating, almost going down a full 2 points. Almost in C-class now, as the back half of the field now, Tyler Shattuck, Cody Retzlaff, nice to see him here as well in the morning. Trenton Briley, Zach Blanche, Brody Descher, Austin Schreiber, and Dennis Michelson will round out your 17 heavyweights here in our first race of the day.
Crystal King starting right in the middle of that Land Rush start, P5. Watch that middle portion of this Land Rush. If you have not joined us for the preliminary races this week, this is about to be an assault on your senses as everybody races into Potawatomi Turn 1. We've seen chaos here. We've seen calamity here. We're going to see the exact same, and who can get away with that whole shot is going to be very important for all 6 laps of this sprint.
We have trucks on the line ready to see 900 horsepower and 17 of the world's best scream into Potawatomi Turn 1. Who will be your champion? We are about to find out as we go green with our first heat race of the day.
10 wide, they dive their way into Potawatomi Turn 1. Contact in the back of the field. One truck gonna go around, but as they funnel their way through Turn 1, around the outside, Thad Countryman trying to get the lead as it goes into the left-hander. Dachalet up top, Countryman on the bottom. There's issues in the mid-pack. They're beating and banging. Crystal King almost around.
She had such a good start, Josh, and just not going to be able to make the good of it. She was almost up to P4, but that's what happens with the Land Rush start. We're starting to get a little bit more spread out now as Evan McFarland, who we have not seen almost all week, is now entering the conversation for the top 5. But your morning split winner from 2024, Nicholas Dachalet, to the point as we start our first lap.
Remember that exciting finish from our first race of the week with Evan McFarland? He's back up front here, trying to rekindle that same magic. Side by side for third. That was Matthew Lindy in the yellow 13 truck and Cody Wienecki in the black number 17. But it's 2 blue trucks up in front. Dachalet ahead of Countryman as they work their way into Argonne. And up the inside, here comes Evan McFarland, 2-for-1 special.
What a move from McFarland. Shades of Quentin DeLomo. He's going to move up the field as Dashley controls the field into Cowboy Hairpin. Thad Countryman opting to keep the poles to himself. Dane Culver doing what Dane Culver knows how to do, and that send. He, with his qualifying, he has to try to make a move here and get something done as this battle for the lead's not over, Josh.
When does he want to try and get this race lead? Countryman has a lot of time to buy going through this heat race, but McFarland's going to be right up their rear view mirror very quickly, and Lindy is not done trying to get a spot on Cody Wienecke as well. Side by side into the gravel pit. It'll be side by side for the lead as well. Up the inside, here comes Countryman. Slider in, doesn't clear him. Side by side over the flyway jump.
Defending to the inside is Dashley, as unfortunately it looks like on the timing board, Winkler was one of those casualties of the lap 1 chaos that is Crandon. That Country to the inside, door open from Dashley, just went in a little too deep. He's going to have to try to hold it around the outside here as Countryman. These corners aren't as banked as everywhere else is on Crandon. Really tricky to hold the inside line. Can Thad clear him? A little bit of, hey, how you doing? Thad Countryman to the point, but Dashley responds to the inside.
And here comes Winkler as well. That inserted him right into this battle. It is a three-way fight for the lead as Lindy and Wienecke try and fight their way from P4. You're on board, top of your screen with Nicholas Dashley into Cowboy. They go. Countryman looks up the inside. Little help from Evan McFarland back there as well, but down the straightaway and over the whoops. Lead still goes to the 9.
Somebody we haven't talked about all week, Cody Wienecke, a driver who's been on the rise here in the short course scene and is now participating in top split. We have not seen him in top split all week this week, but don't get it twisted. This is a driver that can take the whole thing.
That battle for the lead now 3 trucks strong as the battle's further back. Lindy still fighting with Wienecke. Merrick has Michelson behind him, but the lead battle going the way of Countryman as he sends another slider in. We're 3 wide coming over the flyway jump as Evan McFarland wants to get involved. They're cattywampus over the jump. McFarland looks for P2. He'll get it over that Countryman across the line.
We've seen so many patient races and heat races all this week. All that's out the window now. These drivers know exactly what's on the line, and it is a starting spot, a preferable one for the feature. McFarland's come over from the rallycross world. He's put in so much work to get used to these trucks and this style of racing, and it's paying off as he's behind your 2024 champion. Josh, he's got a run going into Cowboy.
McFarland right up on that rear bumper, but as they go into Cowboy, does he make a move? No, he doesn't. He'll slide in a little bit, give a little bit of contact to the back bumper of Dashley, but that has inserted Thad Countryman right back into this battle. That's how it goes in Cowboy. If you run into the truck on your outside trying to make a move up the inside, you're going to do nothing but scrub off speed and scrub off momentum. That's what lost McFarland P2.
Look who's entered the conversation now. Cody Wienecke in behind him. That's Evan McFarland's teammate, KS Industries teammate Matthew Lindy. We have Team Gold Esports. We've got Factory Simsport. Some of the biggest teams in short course racing now represented in this top 4 is Lindy now. Just sitting behind here, Josh, licking his chop. Oh, McFarland with an issue. McFarland with a big issue. He's on the brakes on the binders that look like some sort of mechanical. He's out of it.
He just completely lost that truck in the middle of gravel pit. It just came to a screeching halt. And unfortunately, worst end of the stick there was Matthew Lindy. He's back to P6 as Merrick and Michelson were able to get by. So a 6-way battle for the lead has now thinned its way into a 3-way battle for the lead. But you're still top 2. Countryman and Dashley still side by side fighting towards Cowboy. You're on board with Cody Wienecke with a front row seat.
Wouldn't this be a story? The driver who's not made top split all week in contention for the win here in the heat race. Unfortunately, McFarland costing his teammate as well. Lindy, a bunch of spots. You see that yellow truck in the background, just very damaged. I wonder what happened to McFarland. Maybe we'll get a chance to hear from him, but we'll have to see if he can do anything in the feature. But watch the replay here from McFarland, Josh. You'll see he doesn't just come off the throttle. The brake goes on and sticks on. We're getting confirmation as well. Hardware failure.
That's one of those things about sim racing. We talk so much about the parallels between real world racing and sim racing. Hardware failure is a real thing in sim racing. It just bit Evan McFarland, and unfortunately, it can bite at the worst times, like the exit of gravel pit, like we just saw.
Winecki with a bit of a bump to the inside wall there, Calamity Corner. He's again just hoping that he gets something from these top three. Dashley now trying to chase down that Countryman now that he doesn't have immediate pressure from behind. As Scott Merrick, a driver that, again, what a story from him, was sitting P2, got a gift of a win, was able to make it here into this top split, now proving he belongs here on the back tailgate, the KS Industries machine, as we have battles all over the racetrack.
This is back towards the mid-pack. We've been talking all week about the aggressive mid-pack racing we've seen. You can see the 278 Crystal King. I believe that was Brody Descher there that just sent one in for the ages on Dane Culver.
I'm not sure what the brake pedal was not found. The brake pedal was the 5 trucks that got bumped into. Something we talked about all week, Josh, is how early do you want to make enemies? None of those trucks, those 3 trucks that just got dive bombed, are going to be thrilled with that.
I mean, it worked. Sean Winkler is not going to like it. He lost a spot in that. But Brody Descher, honestly, Keenan, I'm not sure of his thoughts on Dane Culver, but Dane Culver was the one he was sending a slider in on. We know Culver's been making some enemies this week, and he knows that he's been making some enemies this week. He now goes side by side with Crystal King as the white flag is out.
Yeah, I think just shades of Ken Block there from Culver. Just a lot of ain't care. He doesn't really care. He just wants to be to the front of the board. He's here to make memories. He's here to win trophies. Unfortunately, with his qualifying start, he's in the Hornets nets here of the back, as Crystal King as well. Such a good run this week, just kind of stuck there in the back as that Countryman has a driver who's been capable of one of these wins all week, just needed a little bit of luck. Look how clean that Team Gold machine is of Countryman. You're number 1 in iRating in the session as well. All the work he's put in over the last year paying off with what will be, if he can survive the last couple of corners, a huge heat win.
He grabbed the win Thursday night in the sprint, and now looking to grab another sprint race win here in the Super Session on Saturday. This is going to set him up great, Keenan, when we go into the feature race today. He's going to be starting first, have a great line into Potawatomi turn 1, and this could set him up for a Super Session win.
Yeah, one more corner to go, just has to keep it off the wall, and that's that Countryman with your first heat win of the Super Sessions in a barn burner, as we still have some arguments to settle in the 10th position on back. But Josh, we expected fireworks, and we got the big wheelie over the line. That's more in your country. The big slap wheelie there coming over the line, as here's your top 10. With that, Countryman, Nicholas Dashley, and the underdog, Cody Winecki, rounding out your top 3.
I think that was Austin Schieber that had the slap wheelie there, but really well done going into our feature race here. But back from there, Tag with another good finish. We remember earlier in the week, he didn't run the right setup for the feature, ended up having to get more fuel in that truck before the end of the race. Good to see him up in P6 with a great starting spot in our feature race. Then Merrick, Blanche, Briley, and Sean Winkler does end up P10, even after his little run-in with a couple of other trucks. And Culver and Descher end up behind Winkler at the end of that, with the Red Slaff able to get by Crystal King, who couldn't buy herself some luck off of the start the last couple of races. But Austin Schieber ends up last truck on the lead lap. McFarland, we saw his hardware issues, and Tyler Shattuck having issues and not starting in this feature race, the sprint race, excuse me.
Only 2 trucks in the graveyard. I have a feeling that's going to be a little bit bigger when we get to the end of our feature race. Here's the replay of the finish. Keep an eye on that white, black, and teal machine. Big dive in from Sean Winkler. Everybody fighting for these last minute positions. Again, P10 really important here because you're on the front row. Crystal King on the wall, and nose to the sky. If that's not a Tom Mintz slat wheelie, I don't know what is.
That was beautifully done. All 4 wheels pushing that truck forward, but that is just the start. That was an exciting sprint race, Keenan, especially earlier on when we had that 6-truck battle. Unfortunately, the hardware failure for Evan McFarland kind of took us out of that, and we ended up with a 2-truck battle to end that one with Countryman and Dashley. But the fast trucks are fast. They're up front. If more fast trucks end up getting a little bit of luck off the start, and we see a little bit less chaos on the start, we're going to have some great battles for the lead all the way through the mid-pack, all the way through the end.
If you're on the edge of your seat like you should be watching the action here this morning, you can join the iRacing service right now and start your racing career today. Log on to iRacing.com and join the best of asphalt, dirt, and everything in between. Let's see you next year in 2026 when we come back to Crandon and decide a new winner. Josh, as you said, what an exciting start. Not the craziest run into Potawatomi Turn 1 that we've ever seen, but still some fireworks towards the back of the field, and we had battles all over the shop. As a reminder, this will be a 10-lap feature. The winner will be your morning split, your Super Session 1 Crandon champion.
We're only adding 4 laps to the feature race to make a 10-lap feature. However, that does seem like an eternity driving these trucks. These lap times are around 1 minute 16 at race pace. These laps do take a while along the 1.5 mile Crandon International Raceway, so it is going to feel like a longer race as well. But these battles up front, Evan McFarland was showing his hand well. He has a very, very fast race truck and a very, very fast race truck for the 9 as well, as he sent the slider in late there into Cowboy. But this is just going to be a more interesting feature race now. If McFarland doesn't have issues, Keenan, and he gets a good jump off the start and into Potawatomi Turn 1, I think we're going to see him right back up front.
It is all dependent on what everybody does to the start. Again, let's take a look at some of your notable names there. Dennis Michelson, who looks like for the Team Boozy Race Machine couldn't buy himself a good finish. He'll be sitting good in P4. Matthew Linda, the teammate of Evan McFarland, he's going to have to take the flag for KS Industries and see what he can do in P5. Sean Winkler with an issue off the start. Saw him catch that one of those poles and get a spun right around. Good recovery for P10 when he's on the outside of row number 1. And here is all the drivers looking to make a miracle happen. Brody Desher, Dane Culver, Cody Redslaff, Crystal King, Austin Shiver, Evan McFarland, of course, with that hardware failure, and Tyler Shattuck bowing out early will be on the back row for your start. Josh, 10 wide, 10 laps, 10 wide, 17 trucks, only one will be at the top step of the podium.
We've seen how important that whole shot is, Keenan. Who's going to get it with the first feature race of the day?
We have 900 horsepower, all these beasts ready to pounce, and there they go. 17 trucks filing into Potawatomi Turn number 1. Great start for Thad Crutchman. He's got the whole shot, just barely, but Nicholas Sachelay pitching him to the inside, trying to make something happen on the outside. We are relatively late into Potawatomi, but can we stay there?
They got to funnel their way into these jumps. How clean are they going to be? Nobody cattywampus through the mid-pack, and they keep it strange, albeit one truck into the wall on the outside. That's Michelson in the red and white machine. But as they go through, one truck around, that was Drake Matag in the 14, and he catches Sean Winkler as well. The 720 almost goes over, but we're almost 4 wide for the race lead. Deschalais trying to pull away.
They'll keep going. They'll stay in the fight, but fireworks here in the middle as we go over the flyaway, jump into Calamity Corner. We haven't even taken the first lap, and we already have some casualties.
Culver's in it, McFarland's in it. They flipped multiple times. There was a ton of drivers that almost just ran into each other over the flyway jump. Trenton Briley's smoking up a storm now, holding up this mid-pack. But that was, they ran out of real estate way too quick trying to get over the flyway jump, Keenan, and that ended up with a lot of chaos. But out front, second verse, exactly the same as the first. Deschalais had a countryman, slider sent, Lindy makes contact with second place and inserts himself into the top 5 through Cowboy.
He's got to go for it. Now's the time. You can't be patient here in this feature. Of course, there's 10 laps. It's a lot more than we've had in the heat, but the longer you wait, the longer these two drivers can get away. That countryman, Nicholas Sachelay, very seasoned veterans. They know that if they just get nose to tail, they can have their argument with 2, 3, 4 laps to go and have some breathing room to this hornet's nest that's developing behind them.
There goes Lindy back to the inside, and you can see the 9 of Brody Tesher now in a better spot than he was in the sprint. There's another instance of running out of real estate, that time towards the inside. These trucks, you can do anything with them. You can go up middle pretty wide. You can make those moves. Unfortunately, you just run out of space sometimes when you're beating and banging on each other's doors. It's what we saw in lap number 1. It's what we're seeing now as a hip check gets sent on Cody Shattuck. That's Scott Merrick to the outside in the 12.
Tyler Shattuck went from parking it on the graveyard on the heat race to sitting in the top 5. And look who's behind him, too. That's Merrick, Shiver, Winecki. Winecki had a great heat race, unfortunately, just being a victim of these land rush starts. He's going to drop towards the back, but he's not done with it. Ooh, We got 3, 4, 5 wide. That's going to have a concertina effect to the back of the field. As you see some drivers with some early issues. Sean Winkler was pointed backwards, and now he's to the back of this field. We got a kiss call. We're getting a replay. And Josh, I don't know what other words you're going to use here, but everything was good until it immediately wasn't.
Watch that 3 wide in that second groove. Pushes Michelson right into the parallel on the flyway jump. McFarland and Culver get the worst end of that. Another lucky moment that we are in the sim, Keenan, and that was not a real-life wreck that we just saw.
I was going to say, we're going to need 3 helicopters ASAP, but we had 3 helicopters in the air there. That'll be McFarland, Michelson, and Culver out of contention for this race. Unfortunately for all 3 of them, they were showing great things, just not going to be able to make that work. We'll have to see them this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern.
And now we kind of get back into the live action with Brody Descher and Matthew Lindy, who are on board with now. We have 2 pockets up here at the front. We got the pocket for first between Dashley and Countryman, and we got this pocket for third between Descher and Lindy. Side by side now, Lindy shows his hand to the inside. He gives a tap to the back bumper of the 9, sends a slider in through Cowboy on Brody Descher. Contact made, it almost worked, but Descher around the outside with a little bit of a hip check over the whoop is going to keep P3.
Yeah, I think Descher didn't like that very much. I don't know where you'd get that idea from, but Lindy did what he had to do. He went for the hit for the back, turned out to push him wide, and then went for the block passes to quite get it done. Going to be hard to get something like that done on a driver like Brody Descher. We talked about a lot of drivers in this field having pro experience, but there's a lot of drivers who have tons of seat time here at Crandon, and it's paying off by seeing that experience. We're side by side now for P3. Linda with the big send to the inside. Tyler Shattuck says, thank you much. I'll enjoy this battle. Now it's a 3-way dance for P3.
Going down into Calamity Corner. What is Tyler Shattuck going to choose to do here? Does he go aggressive for it? He gets to the back bumper of Dashley, moves him out of the way, moves Descher, tries to move Lindy, just can't do it. He'll stay side by side now with Brody Descher in the 9, and Scott Merrick, bear suit and all, watches on from P8.
The big bear in the big house sits at the back of this field, trying to hope that something comes of this. All he's got to do, Josh, is be patient. Not a whole lot you can do 5th, 6th truck in line as he's going to look to the inside of Saucy Susan. That is Crystal King, who's had a rough start to her race, but that truck is clean. It's a lot she can do as she dives to the inside, but so does everybody. Big move from Merrick as he passes, I think, 2 trucks in Cowboy Corner.
I was just about to give my props to Crystal King in this feature race. Remember the sprint? She got caught in the mid-pack on the start, could not get out of it, ended up in an incident. She finished and started on row 2 of this feature race. Now she's up to P6, contending for P5. Contact from behind with the 17. Contact again with the 10 of Cody Retzlaff, but she'll stay P7. A great effort from Crystal King. Might not be feature race winning effort, unfortunately, but she's going to be up in the front and contending for a top 5 after a not so great sprint race.
Hello, Tyler Shattuck. Goodbye, Tyler Shattuck. It's how quick things can change here in short course racing as we go to take lap 5. We are halfway through this feature race. Nicholas Dashley, still your leader. Thad Countryman on the chase as Sean Winkler on the recovery drive of his life. This might not be the win he was looking for, but still a really impressive performance from the 720. He's got half a race left to make it happen. Really big move to the outside of Argonne Corner. It might happen, though, because there's an argument happening in front of him. He'll have good speed down the straight here.
A big argument happening in front of him as well, as they still are side by side. The 17 of Winnecki to the inside makes contact with Scott Merrick, who's looking to make a move on the 9, and they are stacking it up in Cowboy. Sean Winkler contact with Cody Retzlaff, and even more as the 16 gets into it. That's Zach Blanche.
Well, sorry, Sean. That's not the first time he's heard that. It won't be the last. That's the last time I say anything nice about him. Because immediately the commentator's curse coming into play. Big wreck there in the Cowboy Corner, and we talked about it a bit this week as we're still side by side. Winnecki back in the conversation now for the podium, but if it's a truck in front of you, Josh, that lifts, you don't have time to be nice. You gotta floor it and hope you knock them out of the way. That's really your only hope as we still, that is the 17 that's sideways. Winnecki, he gets turned around. I think he'll still rejoin the back of this fight, but again, how fast things can change here.
Winnecki just lost momentum in the middle of that corner at the gravel pit. I'm not sure if he checked up, expecting the truck in front of him to check up a little bit on the exit, but he just lost a ton of momentum and now a ton of spots on the racetrack as well. Battle for the lead. It's still between Dashley and Countryman. They're side by side going into Cowboy. Countryman inside, Dashley outside.
Ooh,
Countryman
what a
does
move!
a slider. Crossover move from the 9 of Dashley.
He didn't get the block. That's what Thad was trying to do. Park the exit and be able to hit. It basically forces Dashley to hit him. Didn't happen. Now they're side by side in the Potawatomi. We still have this battle for 4th down as Merrick, one of the underdog stories of the week, pulling away, as that will be the end of Cody Winnecki's race. He's got too many incidents. He's being sent to the steward's box.
Disqualification from P13 after that contact that he made in the gravel pit. Battle for the lead still on. Battle for 4th on as well. Desher doing a good job at leading this group. Lindy and Shattuck behind have been trying to throw anything in that they could, but very defensive lines from Brody Desher the last couple of laps by. Scott Merrick is also within striking distance of this group as well for P3.
Merrick has to put his head down and try to build as much gap as he can, because he has 4 of the best behind him who would love, absolutely love, to be able to capitalize on any form of weakness. But the harder these 4 drivers fight, the more that Merrick is going to build this gap. As the same story for Dashley and Countryman. They have a sizable lead, but when you start fighting in short course, you lose so much time so quickly, as that's that Countryman going a little bit deep now into Cowboy corner, trying to get the exit, but Dashley just reading him like the book. Heck, he's been racing so long, he wrote the book, as I think that's Matthew Linda who will join Cody Winnecki in the steward's box.
That was another DQ. We saw the contact that happened behind as they were all funneling their way into Cowboy. Shattuck just barely got into the back bumper of Matthew Lindy, and that was enough to send him over the incident limit and disqualify him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we told you there'd be fireworks. We got 3 trucks in the pits. We got 1 with a blown motor and 2 in the steward's trailer. They're dropping like flies, but the battle is still on. Nicholas Dashley hanging on to this lead, but he has probably one of the most improved short course racers in the service in Thad Countryman. He'd love to be able to go from most improved to best in the world, as he's got last year's winner, Dashley, right in front of him in 3 laps to make something happen.
And remember what this means for Nicholas Dashley as we look on board with him now from P1. He won this exact split of the Super Sessions last year. He won the 11 a.m. Super Session on the iRacing Esports Network. He's looking to do that 2 years in a row. The list of iRacers that have been able to win 2 special events, 2 broadcasted special events in a row is a very, very short list. He's looking to join an eclectic group of names.
And wipe all of that, Josh. This is a home race for Dashley. Crandon, Wisconsin native, born and raised. He would love to win at his home track, and especially when his home track is the pinnacle, the hallowed ground that is the big house of Crandon International Raceway.
It'll be 2 to go when they come across the line this time as we look further back into our mid-pack once again, where they have just been continuing to beat and to bang. Austin Schieber in 8th. This is a battle between him, Zach Blanche, and Cody Retzlaff back from there as well. Sean Winkler disconnected from this group. He lost a ton of body panels. I would not be shocked with a bit of engine damage or a little bit of aero damage on that truck. He sits P11 right now.
Sean Winkler's very bad, no good morning race. We'll see him, I'm sure, tonight to try to make something happen, but just not the best start for the Pacific Northwest native as Crystal King leads this field of Drake Matang and Austin Schieber. We've seen 2 disqualifications already, and everybody's instant points. Some people have almost lost 2 license classes this week. It's just how this form of racing works. It's not dirty, it's not overly aggressive, it's short course. It's just how it is, and how many incident points you think they have left to play to be able to send some big sliders, some big hip checks, which is just how you have to race.
That is kind of the mutually agreed upon racing in off-road, is that you're going to be aggressive. You're going to have to get the elbows out to make a lot of these passes work. Take a look at what drivers are doing in the Cowboy in this camera shot here. They're having to pitch the truck to the inside, send sliders in. That's how you have to make passes, especially in a split like this, Keenan, where everybody is so similar on speed in terms of qualifying and in terms of the stopwatch. You have to make passes happen. And as the white flag will come out this time by, they are side by side for the lead. Dashley versus Countryman. Dashley going for 2 Super Session wins in 2 years.
It's Factory Sim Sport versus Team Gold Esports, two of the biggest names in the business as we ride along board with that countryman. How many times this week, Josh? We've seen it with Trapkin, we've seen it with King, of waiting until the last lap, the last corner, and with a little bit of chrome horn, getting a come-from-behind victory. Dashley would love to go back-to-back. He'd love to win at his home track as we go side-by-side in the Cowboy corner, but Thad Countryman holds all the cards right now.
Countryman to the inside. Here's where the move's gonna happen. There's the defense from Dashley trying to protect the contact, but he couldn't do it. Countryman to the inside. They are side by side down the straightaway, over the whoops and into Potawatomi turn 1.
Dashley's got the momentum. He's going to be able to protect the inside. Countryman's not going to be able to carry that speed on the outside. He's going to have to concede. He's trying not to, though. Potawatomi turn 1 into Potsy turn 2. Those big motocross-style scrubs as the door action is already started here. We're going to go down into the gravel pit, Josh, for the final time, side by side for the championship.
Countryman's got the inside. He's going to have to try and make a move work. Dashley goes on the defense, side by side. They lean on each other at a gravel pit. They'll come over the flyaway jump, still side by side. Ken, another classic Crandon finish.
Dashley to the inside. That Countryman tries to go for the crossover. Like a book, parks the exit. Nowhere for Countryman to go. Dashley goes back-to-back. He wins your 2025 morning split for your Crandon Championship. What a smart play from the veteran. That is Factory Sim Sport to the point once again.
Two-time, call him two-time for Nicholas Dashley. We didn't see much of him during the week. He showed up when it mattered, Keenan, and we saw on his camera how much this win means to him. And look at the celebration in the Cowboy corner. Get the drifts out. Let's see what these trucks can really do.
At Dashley again, I almost stood up. He played it perfectly. He saw Thad go wide. Thad obviously going to have to use the chrome horn, try to move him out of the way. He just went, you know what? I've got a brake pedal. Took the hit, used that as momentum to cross the line. It wasn't one of our photo finishes, but just both drivers at their peak, so intelligent. But Nicholas Dashley, tall him two-time. That is Nicholas Dashley, your Crandon born and bred, to the front of the field, and your winner, our first champion here in our Super Sessions on Saturday.
Countryman was so close, less than 3/10 in another classic Crandon finish coming to the line. Merrick, Desher, and Shattuck ends up at the end of the top 5. Crystal King, a very good effort after a not so stellar sprint race to get up and into P6 in the peak feature. Drake Matag, Austin Schieber, Zach Blanche, Cody Retzlaff. Rounding out your top 10, Keenan, with Winkler having some issues, a little bit of a slow truck. Briley ends up 1 lap down after we saw him with a ton of engine issues off of the end of lap number 1. Matthew Lindy, Cody Winecki with some disqualifications. Same thing with Michelson, Culver, and McFarland, who we saw go flipping multiple times over the flyaway jump to begin the race.
Hey, we got the wreck of the week here on the day that it mattered. I think McFarland, Carver, and Michelson will probably be in the most viral social media clips. And if you've seen any kind of clips from Crandon in real life the last couple of weeks, you know this is a farm for those kind of clips. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be able to talk to your winner, Nicholas Dashley. Again, huge win. We talked to him last night. We knew how much this win was going to mean for him. Nicholas, you played it perfectly. You got out to the front, and you knew that move was coming. Talk us through the last lap.
Yeah, it was basically me and Thad from the whole shot. We basically got out front, and I think we were up to like a 7-second lead over third place. So, I mean, me and Thad have raced together for a while, so we know not to mess around when we have that big of a lead. We know how to race each other clean. So going into that final lap, I knew I had to protect the inside. He ended up getting alongside of me on the backstretch back there, and we drove her down into Cowboy pretty hard and ended up side by side. That was just good, hard, clean racing right there. Hopefully it was fun to watch.
I almost stood up, and I'm old. My legs hurt. That doesn't happen very often. We talked to you last night, and obviously from where you're from and what this venue means to you, and what Josh said earlier in the broadcast. Not a whole lot of people even outside of dirt in iRacing period can say they're a 2-time special event winner. What's that mean for you?
Oh, it means everything. I came back last year to help defend the title, so I'm glad I'm able to come back and defend it, especially at Crandon. Like this place is home to me, so I'm always run good here. I enjoy going there in real life. I'll be going there next week, so if anyone's out there, come stop and say hi. yeah, it's just amazing.
You'll be able to give our resident Chris Leone a crisp high five. Again, just look for the short Italian man. We said the same thing last year. The opportunity to dominate the event and win both Super Sessions is open for you. Is that the plan? What are we thinking going into tonight now that you have this morning win?
Oh, I think we have to go for the double now. I feel like our setups are running good right now. Qualified on pole. Setup felt good, so yeah, we might be back here tonight.
Can he do the unthinkable, ladies and gentlemen, and go back-to-back? We'll have to find out. Nicholas Dashley, your winner here from the morning split at Crandon. And we catch up with P2 as Josh Lee has caught up with Scott Merrick, your P3 actually finisher. The Bear is joining us in the studio.
I actually get a better shot of it. It's a monkey suit, right, Scott? Yeah. From the side angle, it looked very bear-like. Front angle, very monkey-like. So we apologize for calling it a bear suit a decent amount of times on the broadcast today. However, solid finish for you in P3. We watched the mid-pack a bit, but we didn't watch it a whole lot at the end with that exciting battle to the finish with our top two. How was it from your perspective running through the mid-pack?
It was actually... I say I got lucky. I was just being smart. I was watching what everybody was doing. I did pull some risky moves that worked out for me, that didn't work out for the others. I was quite happy. On the initial start, we got a little messed up and we fell to dead last, but we were able to recover and get back up to third.
Feature race win Thursday morning. Can we expect to see you tonight in our 9 p.m. Eastern split, or is this going to be the kind of one and done, sit on the podium for you in the Super Sessions?
No, sir. I'll be there tonight. We got rained out this week, so honestly, I have nothing better to do. So.
Well, we look forward to seeing you tonight then in our evening Super Session. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you.
Good to hear from Dashley and Merrick Keenan as you're catching up with Chris Leone, who wasn't in the top split, but I hope he did a good job.
I was just so excited, Josh. I'm so sorry. I love every time I get to talk to Chris. It's always so pleasant. Wasn't able to join us in top split, but I think that may have been, we'll see how it went for you. Chris, where were you and how did it go?
Godspeed to my A license. It's gone. It's gone. We're going to be running a lot of time trials over the next couple of weeks. We actually did really good. I managed to get through the first 2 laps in the heat without a single incident point, and so I am proud of that. But, once you get into the feature, people sometimes interpret things as being more malicious as they are. You get somebody fixated on you a little bit. Disagreements were had. It's short course racing. It's a hard form of racing to maintain a high safety rating in. And as you've talked about with people who have lost 2 license classes over the course of the week. But we got a great start in the first one. I managed to come out 4th in that first corner and was trying to run away, but just kind of faded. This rig's not built for short kings like us, so my lower lumbar support has been little suboptimal, and I haven't done anything to compensate for it. So I got a little tired, faded back to about where I qualified, just fell out of the top 10. But what a blast to be able to do all of these from the studio all week long before getting back to real Crandon for me for the first time in 6 years.
I'm sure you heard me screaming there at the end a little bit. Dashley ended up going back-to-back. Obviously, he's from Crandon. Might be somebody you'll be saying hello to.
Probably.
What do you think as somebody getting so involved in off-road racing that a win like that means to a hometown native?
Oh, it means it would be impossible for me to put into words if I was in his position. It's just incredibly special to win at Crandon, no matter when or where or how you do it. When we do the Enduros and Yes 2 and group therapy, when I take a win, it's incredibly special. It's like you've called it. It is the Daytona. It is the Indianapolis of short course racing. A win at Crandon means more than anything for anybody. And, whether it's the real world or the virtual one. So incredibly special for Nicholas, not only to win this one, but also to be able to say he went back-to-back.
That was my next question. So now, obviously, you've been racing with us this morning. You've been a fan at night. We have a lot of storylines going into 9 p.m. I'm shocker. Chris is also a big fan of off-road racing.
No.
We have a lot of storylines going into tonight. What are you looking forward to at 9 p.m.?
I want to see how many people fall out on incident points, because I have you in my ear, even though I'm not able to, watched the first split while I'm racing in the second one, you know, I could hear people were dropping out. Those 17Xs had to pull it in. You know, it is going to be the last session of this special event, and then we shut it all down for a year. So the gloves are going to be off. People are not going to be patient. People are not going to be friendly. You know, people are going to do what it takes to be able to etch their name in the record books, and that could mean some carnage. So it's going to be about if you're able to outrun that.
And not being patient, not being friendly. How does that reflect to what we're going to see next week from the real life sessions?
Well, as you can imagine, those carry a little more consequence in terms of the damage bill. So you do, I think, see people back it off a little bit more. But like we referred to earlier in the week with the Keegan Kincaid, Kyle Chaney incident in the Community Cup in June, sometimes you will just mount another truck as you're crossing the finish line. And if you haven't seen that viral clip, I promise you it is not hard to find on the internet. One of the craziest laps I have ever seen. I have been on the little gazebo at the finish line as I've seen people roll trucks. It's crazy. When you've got 50, 60,000 fans standing up and screaming in the real world, it's not hard to have that adrenaline running and make some crazy moves when you've got that much money on the line.
I think when you get a chance to watch the replay from this race, you'll see that we have our own viral clips of our own. There was
always
a full-on wheelie. We had 3 trucks turning into helicopters. It was we were spoiled.
I heard you name drop Tom Meents, so
yes,
that's
I have
a good
to.
race.
Josh is here.
Yeah, well, still, that's
Legally
a good race.
obligated.
And hi, Josh. I'm sorry I couldn't hear you all week.
You're good. Pleasure to see you again.
So, Josh, I don't know what we were expecting here this morning, but fireworks is what we got, and it's only going to get crazier as we have our first back-to-back winner, Nicholas Dashley, going 2 for 2 here in the 11 a.m. split. Can he do the double, or are we going to see somebody new take that second crown up for grabs?
And this was just the start. I mean, we still have one more split tonight, and kind of we've seen a couple more famous names in iRacing off-road come out for the evening splits versus the afternoon splits. So I'm expecting we're going to see a couple more big names later on tonight, but we're still going to see some of the best of iRacing off-road go head-to-head for one final super session on the week. Your plans aren't to tune in. I know we have the Coke Zero Sugar 400 for the NASCAR Cup Series, but put that on in the background. Put Crandon on your main TV because we are going to be very exciting tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a heck of a week, and it all comes down to this. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 20 of the best names in off-road racing and iRacing, the best in the world, fight one last time to see who can join Nicholas Dashley as your 2025 Crandon champion. Can he do the unthinkable and go back-to-back? We'll find out tonight. Thank you very much to all of our iRacing broadcast team. And on behalf of Chris Leone, Joshua Lee, and myself, Keenan Kuzin, we'll see you in the gravel pit one more time tonight at 9 p.m. from Crandon.